Hello, it's Amelia Kramer from Upwards Art Studio, and we're doing a demo today for the Enkaustikos printing plates. So we have 3 sizes in the store, and we can get all the sizes that they make. Pretty sure that they make custom sizes as well. So again, just I know that they make custom sizes because I've asked for them before. So just let us know. If you need a different size than what we have. So they are anodized aluminum plates. In this, you can't really see them. You'll be able to see them on the bit on when I switch cameras. And they are for printing with encaustic. They also can be used as pallets, so we'll look at that a little bit later. But their main use is for printing. Okay, I'm gonna switch cameras here. And your nose is in there, Anne. Okay, so this is a larger plate. I'm gonna turn this because this is my microphone, just in case I get too quiet. Oh, I did have USB or Bluetooth microphones. I forgot. Okay, so this is the printing plate out of the box. It's aluminum. It comes with a like protective thing on one side. You just peel that off, and then that would be your good printing side. In this case, this one was just a little bit dented, so we'll see what that looks like. If you get one that's dented from the store, obviously bring it back and we'll exchange it. Anyway, so I bought a class pack for the studio here. So they fit my nice huge griddles. I forget what size they are, but so that's what they are. They need to be a lower temperature than what you would normally paint with encaustic. So it's more like 165. You're good. 165 to 185-ish. So when I turn on my griddle, I just kind of put a thermometer in the middle and just let it figure out where it needs to be and just adjust the dial as I go. They don't obviously take as long as encaustic to heat up, so you don't need a full hour to do this. It's more like half an hour just to get this adjusted, and even like shorter than that. Okay. So things that you would use, I use bamboo barons. So these we have in the store as well. So to make them reusable, right, because this is bamboo and would get wax all over it, I put some layers of not cotton swab, paper towel, there's the word, and then cover it with aluminum foil. So the aluminum foil, if it gets wax on it, you can just set them on the plate and clean them off. If they get ripped or something, or like really dirty, then you can replace the aluminum foil and they're all good to go. So I usually use 2 of them because I'm going to hold the paper with one, take the print, hold the paper with one, and do that. Okay, so to pull a simple print, so I'm going to use some of their Enkaustikos blocks. You can use other encaustic paints. I'm just going to use them, one, because they make the plates. And some of them have really cool sets of colors. I think this one's a Trish Sedgerbrook one in one of her, or maybe it's this one. I don't know. I just mixed them all up in my drawer, so now I don't really know. So you can just draw on the plate. So the hotter the plate, the more fluid the paint, right? So if I wanted a really crisp line, I would have it colder. So right now I have it a bit colder. And then if I wanted more soupy-ish paint, more soupy-ish lines, then I could, see there's that dent in the plate. So we'll just see what happens with that. I forget where I was going. Oh, so the more fluid, or the hotter, the more fluid the paint. So depending on what you want the paint to look like. Usually you take prints with rice paper. So this is just some rice paper. It was in a large sheet, so I just cut them in half. To cut rice paper, you should wet it and tear it along that line. The other thing you can use are these like paint trim things, trim guide, and you just put it on the paper and rip. So that's a super easy way to cut printmaking paper, watercolor paper, anything that's kind of thicker. So you can get those at the hardware store in the painting section. And newsprint, because we need newsprint for this, so I just went to town this morning ripping a whole bunch of paper. Okay, so similar to other printmaking, like jelly plate, you want to make a U with your paper. This one has a little bit of a bend in it because the paper was folded, but we'll see how it goes. Touch it down and then just let the sides go. And then you cover it, because if I put a baren on it right now, all that wax is going to seep onto my baren, and then I'll have to keep cleaning them. So I'm going to put a piece of newsprint. Newsprint, the wax doesn't permeate through all the way. So I'm going to hold it down with one, and then I'm going to move my other one around. And then I'm going to hold this one still and move this one around. Okay, and then I'm going to take those off, take my newsprint off, and then I can take this off. If you need tweezers, like if your plate's a little bit bigger or like right to the edges or something, you can use tweezers to get them off. And there's my like Olympic rings print. Sometimes if there's lots of stuff on your plate, you can still take a ghost print. But like if we try to lift this, if I just try to lift this right now, it's really not going to do enough that I would see anything, right? There's a little bit of green there, but like you can hardly see it. So, so I don't normally clean my plate as I go. Yeah, don't normally, but you can if you choose to. We'll cover that in a little bit. So I probably should have made a background first. So let's make a background. I'm going to use a light yellow so that my next colors, this is a little cold. I can see because it's starting to, I can feel that it's starting to pull a little bit. And especially these griddles, right? Because they're not, they cycle through. They're not the best for printing, but they're more economical because you can buy the Enkaustikos plate and make any griddle that you already have a printing griddle. So I'm going to make a background, and it doesn't matter what side of the rice paper you use. There's a little bit of a difference that one side would just look more feathered on the edges, but it's hardly noticeable. So you touch down. This might have a little line here because of that fold in the paper. And then I can just keep reusing my piece of newsprint until it's completely saturated. So you could use a different type of paper, like you could put another layer of rice paper on or something, or some nicer printmaking paper so that because this is going to become garbage and you don't really want to put it into your work because it is newsprint. So and it always gets staticky because we've been rubbing it with metal. Okay, so here's this one. So this is more of a background, and then I can overprint on that. And that kind of lifted most of the paint that was on there. So let's do some more circles or ovals. They're like my two favorite colors. So these are going to show up on top of that yellow. This one might be a little light. You might just add a little bit of that to make it a little bit different. It's a little light. Now I'm just picking colors. We'll see how this goes. So I've got kind of a lot of paint in the middle. So I'm going to print on the side that I printed on. Again, you can print on the other side. It will just look, the background will look more dispersed, I guess. And the background will be pretty obvious. Okay, so you touch down with my newsprint again. And I'm holding one still while I'm rubbing with the other one. Okay. tweezers because I keep putting it in a weird spot on my plate. So there's stuff on top of other stuff. So that's overprinting. So you can also just look at my notes to make sure I'm doing all the things I want to do. So you can also use stencils with them. So let's make another background. Again, with something light. Oh, that's not as light as I thought it was. It was pretty opaque. We'll see. And this is getting cold again. Oops. And try not to shift your paper. That kind of happened on me there, but. So you can see that this is super fast, right? And I put my newsprint on the wrong side, doesn't matter. So this, and now it's sticking to it yet. So anyway, so this is really fast. So you end up making a lot of prints in one go. So I'm going to use this blue and I'm going to use a stencil. And look, I'm making brown because there's orange on there. Okay, so stencils you can cut out of newsprint because like we said, newsprint, the wax doesn't absorb it. So it's the cheapest and easiest way. Technically you can use Stencil Girl stencils, but I would just use these because they're available. That's my preference. And I'm also making shapes that like are unique to me. Okay, so you put that down. So I have my stencil down. This one I used before, that's why there's wax on it. So you can keep reusing your stencils as well until they get like soaked. Oh, and it came off all in one go. Right, so there's this one, the stencils over top of my background. If I lift this, it's gonna have that ring that's still left. So let's put that on something. Because why waste? Why waste this? So this might need to be rubbed a little bit harder. Oops, thank you. This might need to be rubbed a little bit harder because it's a little, you know, and kind of in those spots. I'm guessing where those spots are. Oops, and I can feel my plate moving underneath. I've put a paper towel under my plate just to help it not swing around so much because these are older griddles that kind of have a bow in it now. Right, so now I have these beautiful, if I can get it off, these beautiful, let's see if we can get that in the video, these like larger rings. So sometimes you want to print to get this, right? That you're like, oh, let's just keep doing that in order to get this, right? So, okay, so that's using a stencil. You can also use some silicone tools. So these are the Catalyst tools by Princeton. They actually, see how they go because they have a bit of acrylic paint on them. There's these wipeout color shaper tools. You can use things like foam and sponges and all of that kind of stuff. Just know that those things, the wax absorbs into it, but they leave a neat pattern in the wax. Okay, let's go with, what color do you want, Anne?
I like that that yellow.
This one?
Yeah, I love yellow.
Okay, it's gonna go
Oh,
green.
yeah, gorgeous.
Oh, I forgot about cleaning the plate. We'll do that after this. Because you can clean. Okay, so this one's a little like, right, I can make little marks in it, just like jelly plate printing. I can remove large spots of it and get these kind of pools, which is cooler than what happens on jelly plates with those things. That's why we hide those ones from the kids when we're doing that. And then these, you know, you can just make whatever. Okay, so let's put that on. We kind of had green on that one. Let's just get a new sheet. If I can get one. Awkwardly get one. Okay. So again, if I had made a background, all of this would be filled with that background color. Okay, and let's view this way, just because my paper's being awkward. Yeah, my newsprint. I've been using the whole time. So it might get a little saturated on the edges here. It's sticking to everything. So this one has the marks that you can see. If my plate was cooler, these puddles would be a little bit more defined. Yep, there's that. So I could probably take a ghosty bit from this, because some of that I can see is a big pool. Again, should have been a U, but we'll deal with it. Everything's getting really staticky. It must be really dry. But it feels like it's gonna rain today. Tweezers, because I don't want to burn myself today. We'll do that tomorrow.
Oh,
So little bits, right? Not overly fabulous, but like I didn't put a background on this. So what I can do is, I don't want to get too in the weeds with this, but put this on the back. It's a yellow. Right, so you can print on both sides as you go. I think we talked about that briefly though. Okay. Right, so now I have this like greeny-ish stuff because my plate was dirty. Oh my gosh, static.
that's gorgeous.
And that was on the back. Okay, so cleaning the plate, the easiest way is just a water bottle. Whoa, just give it a little squirt. And some paper towel. Thank you. Oh.
That's it?
So this will get super hot, right? Because it's water on something hot. So it creates a lot of steam. And okay, so if it gets too, this is kind of stainy-ish. I can just keep using the same paper towel and just keep rolling it over and over. So if it gets too crazy that you can't get it off, you can just put a little bit of encaustic medium, especially in the pellets, like because then you're using very little, and just let it kind of melt-ish there. And then it will just clean up the rest of it. You can just use straight up beeswax. I would not use paraffin. It creates a film on your plate that is super hard to get off once it's on there. So encaustic medium or just straight up beeswax. And I prefer the pellets. I just said all of that, but let's repeat it. Okay. I'm just gonna, I think we're done with this plate, right? Let me just check the notes again. Yeah, okay. So we're going to use, let me adjust my camera. Oh, seasick. This is upside down. That's okay. Whatever. So this is an RNF plate. They don't make them anymore. So if you can find one used from someone, that's awesome. Or you could use a polyroll hot box. It's that you want these clamps on so that your printing paper is in the same spot every time. And then underneath, this is a BFK Reeves making paper, and I have a smaller Enkaustikos plate underneath. So I'm going to, this basically registers the plate. And I'm just gonna get a clip because it's a little bit, that's dirty, whatever. Just on the edge of that. Yeah, just in the middle. Thank you. That should just, oh, that's not heavy enough. Just to keep it out of my way. If it was longer and stuff, then it would be easier, but. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of register-ish my plate, just in case it moves. I'm just gonna put little dots in all of the corners, just so that I know where it is, because it might move. Okay, so I can do my designs on here. I want just make my designs on the plate, right? Maybe I want them going off. I used that one already, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
There's something over here-ish. Oh, it's getting a little, oh well. Okay, so let's print this. I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna get my newsprint. And I'm gonna get new newsprint for this, just in case. You can go right on the back with your Baron. It might just leave black marks on your paper. So I'm trying to hold down the plate with one and move around the plate and hold down and move around the plate. Just because we want to hold the plate still and also take the print. Okay, and then I do need tweezers. Where did I have multiple tweezers because I knew I would lose some. Oops, that's dirty. Everything is dirty here. So I'm just gonna move this. Right, so there's the print, and I can keep over printing on that. So let's add something else. Let's add some like something here. Maybe some, this is gonna be quite dark, but. Okay, let's try that. And I can see my plate is kind of hot because this is kind of liquidy. And I'm just gonna move this back a little bit. Don't need the tweezers yet. Newsprint. Kind of remember-ish where my plate is. Holding down the plate with one, moving the other one around to get the print of the whole plate. Okay, and then tweezers. You can hold that in. Right, and there's the print. And you can just keep going and going and going. And you can use all of the tools, right? You can use a stencil, you can use the subtractive tools, you can make some texture marks. So that's using a smaller plate. Okay, so we'll just take this right off if we can. So that's the nice there. Right, so it looks significantly different. Just in that it's like a full, more like a printmaker's print that you could frame under glass if you chose to and mat it. Whereas the ones on rice paper, I would probably mount, or if you were going to, I'm just gonna move my camera again because it's in a weird, hold on, what the heck is going on now? It's so these ones I would mount onto a panel, or if they were super saturated, I could hang them just like this with magnets or in a window or something like that, because they are translucent. You can collage this stuff in as well because there is wax already in it. So it's super easy to collage into your work. Okay, so also using the plates as a palette. So you saw that like you could see what black this is on the palette, right? So if you don't use cups or you're using a combination, just having one of these smaller plates in a spot on your griddle, you can really see what colors they are. Because what we do with the pots is we often color check them, right? Because what's in the pot isn't always what it looks like. And you can see the transparency, you can see the exact color, right? Like this in a pot would look super bright, and on here it's still super bright, but it's super translucent. Right, so it helps you see the colors more accurately. It's also a gray palette. Like if you're used to using gray palette paper for other techniques, then this is the gray palette paper of encaustic. Any questions? That was
so what are the advantages of using the palette versus using the griddle when you are using the rice paper?
The griddle, so what happens with the griddle is that it leaves all of these bumps, and sometimes the wax does not keep its shape, right? So you've probably seen that when we're cleaning up the griddles and we just put a piece of rice paper on, it like just goes bleh, right? Instead of keeping shapes that are there.
And what's the life expectancy of the palette?
As long as you keep it, like don't scratch it.
Yeah.
And there is another side to it, right?
Yep.
So they're all double-sided. I keep them in the boxes that they come in, just to keep them, keep them from getting marked up or anything. So yeah. Yeah, it's just aluminum. So treat it nicely and it will treat you nicely.
And it looks like you should kind of like stick with silicone based for
just things that are heat resistant-ish.
Right.
You can, if you can get this low enough, you can use like a bubble wrap on it, but it needs to be really fast, right? Because you don't want to you don't want to get the plastic on there and then not be able to get it off,
Right.
because you would have to scrape it and then you have scrape marks through your plate.
Got it.
So I would, you know, say that hesitantly.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, so if you also had things like a doily, which has already been covered in like wax. you
a
could
doily
use that-
just by itself too,
a
without,
doily by- Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah,
cool.
so I would use that as a print
Right,
thing,
that's what I
rather
was
than
thinking.
trying to make it a stencil,
Yeah.
because it is pretty thick,
Cool.
right? So you could put it down and kind of like stamp it-ish. You can use rubber stamps on this as well. They don't really keep their shape very well.
No.
Yeah, sponges we talked about a little bit, foam rollers and stuff. They leave a good design, but they also suck up a lot of the wax. So
Yeah, so I'm also thinking because like in ceramics, you can also get those silicone rollers. Have you
Yeah.
ever tried
Uh,
those to get like a pattern besides these?
they're a little bit more. We can get one out.
Cool.
I didn't bring the handle, so we'll see
Yeah.
how this goes.
Oh, I'm just curious
Yeah.
because I'm trying to think, okay, so what other things could we use that are?
Right,
kinda
like
hand-
it kind of
Oh, it
flips around,
doesn't. Yeah, no, it really doesn't.
right? Because it's
No.
hot and it's kind of rubbery. So it
Yeah.
can make interesting designs, but it's not gonna make the design
No.
that's on there.
Okay, I totally get it now.
Yeah,
Cool. Thank you.
here, let's just print that. On something new. Like, keep
Yeah.
looking at all those going,
Yeah.
"Mm, it's not gonna, well, maybe it will show up on the back.
That
of
would be
this."
cool, yeah.
Let's
Because
put it
the
on
green
back
and the
of this.
purple.
And you don't have to keep putting your paper in the
No.
same spot every time. Let's just go here-ish. Oop. That. And this one, and thank you. I almost swear because I'm used to swearing in front of you.
Yeah.
I knew what word I was gonna say. Okay, right, so that's on the back. So it's not on the, it's right,
It's cool though.
right?
Yeah.
So it's coming through, but it's not on top,
No.
right? So anyway, that's what that is. Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
okay, let's spotlight back to this one. It's always the place spotlight. Okay. Thank you, everyone. This will be on YouTube. Oh, you're going to be watching it on YouTube, so it'll be posted later today, but you know that because you're watching it. Yeah, so our website is upwardsartstudio.com. We have a whole slew of Enkaustikos products. We can get anything that they make actually, so we can just add it to our next order. And so you can order online, shipping, flat rate shipping in Canada for $25, unless your order is more expensive, and then it's free shipping. International is a minimum of $25 shipping rate, and then it fluctuates from there. And you can also locally, you can order online and pick up in store. And then we have the store that you can come to in person. Okay, and we're located in Owen Sound, Ontario in the River District, which is downtown. Okay, thanks everyone.